Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. The truth about Luna's paternity is revealed when Ridge orders Finn to leave Steffy. Rumors and teasers for the Bold and the Beautiful hint that Ridge Forrester would tell John Finn Finnegan to leave his daughter. Poppy Nozawa may be lying to Finn because she doesn't want him to know the truth, despite her insistence that Finn isn't Luna Nozawa's biological father. Would Ridge still accept Finn if he were Luna's father, according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful? Fans are aware that Ridge isn't the show's most attentive listener and that he is undoubtedly opinionated, so will Ridge still accept Finn if he ends up being Luna's father? What would happen if Finn turned out to be Luna's father? As they get closer to Steffy Forrester's anniversary, Ridge and Taylor Hayes are now praising her for being a fantastic wife and mother. Although Lee and Jack Finnegan may encounter major obstacles, Steffy hopes that Finn will have the same happiness as Ridge and Taylor when his parents are reunited. Even Ridge and Taylor concur, though, that it would be great for Finn to have his parents reunited. B&B spoilers, will love and goodwill last? Should Finn prove to be Luna's father, will this endearing love fest endure? The identity of her father is still unknown because all of the paternity tests have so far come back negative, but the likelihood of Finn becoming her father is growing. According to what was revealed in the episode that aired on Thursday, January 30th, Finn and his Aunt Poppy became very close and were enmeshed in a passionate moment. Finn has a unique affinity with his adoptive aunt because she not only had sex with him but also took his virginity. As was already mentioned, Poppy denied that Finn was Luna's father when he directly questioned her, although despite her apparent emotion, it's possible that she lied. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, what would Ridge think and do? Let's talk about Ridge. We can anticipate that he will become furious if it finds out that Finn is indeed Luna's father. Ridge won't listen to justifications, even if Finn was unwittingly under the influence of narcotics at the time. He will prioritize protecting Steffy and making sure Finn is permanently removed from her life. When Finn wanted to get close to Sheila Carter Sharp, Ridge made it very plain that he didn't care that she was Finn's mother and that his son-in-law should sever all contact with her. We expect Ridge to respond similarly if Luna turns out to be his daughter, particularly since Luna tried to hurt Steffy, which is just unacceptable. Finn requests house arrest answers after questioning Bill's odd Luna bond? According to teasers for The Bold and the Beautiful, Bill Spencer has a strong feeling of empathy for Luna Nozawa. Bill acknowledges Luna's tumultuous childhood and can identify to how it affected her, even though he does not condone her acts. Fans of B&B are aware that Bill saved Luna after she was assaulted in prison. Bill stepped in to handle the entire house arrest matter after Luna declared she wouldn't live if she had to remain there. But Bill also believes Luna should have a place where she may genuinely develop and improve. Whether it is genuine or not, Bill is already noticing a change in Luna. Since Luna has demonstrated that she is an expert manipulator, no one can be certain, but Bill is undoubtedly buying what she is selling. Bill is being really protective, but John Finn Finnegan might be the next to show his protective side. Despite Poppy Nozawa's continuous insistence that Finn wasn't Luna's father, it seems like the show is using this to further prolong the plot. Poppy might be forced to confess once paternity evidence demonstrates that Finn is the biological father. In any event, we would like to discuss Finn's response to Bill pulling all those legal threads for Luna. When Finn learns that Bill has been concealing Luna beneath his roof after getting her out of jail, what will he do? Finn might start to wonder what the true purpose of this home arrest arrangement is. Given the situation, Finn might even believe Bill has a sinister attraction to Luna. Bill may express that he views Luna as his daughter, but once Papa Finn takes charge, things can be different. Finn might attempt to take control of Luna if he believes that her living situation is unsuitable. When this entire situation is resolved, that might undoubtedly become an issue for Steffy Forrester. If a separation or divorce is imminent, Finn might wind up living alone with Luna. In any case, Finn might eventually storm into the Spencer estate and wonder what Bill's real intentions are. Stay tuned for updates on all of Finn's inquiries, as he believes that Bill's relationship with Luna is strange. Finn will learn about Bill's legal wizardry according to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, so we'll give you additional predictions about the startling revelation and the ensuing drama. Brooke ambushes Ridge, Steffy diverts Hope, and Bill is caught. According to the Bold and the Beautiful teasers for the upcoming 2 weeks, February 3rd to 14th, Poppy Nozawa will not stop until she receives an answer for the disappearance of Luna Nozawa. Unfortunately, since Bill Spencer most likely paid the prison officials to keep things secret, Poppy may encounter some difficulties when trying to get information. However, during the week of February 3rd to 7th, Poppy will stop at nothing to get answers. At the hospital, John Finnegan will also feel as though his emotions are out of control at that point. Will Finn be able to take that DNA test, despite his nervousness? If Finn proceeds with obtaining paternity results and they show Poppy to be mistaken, he will find himself even more enraged. Finn will have a lot to process because it appears that he is actually Luna's biological father. Given the approaching anniversary of Finn and Steffy Forrester's Jacqueline McInnes Wood romance, he could be reluctant to reveal this Luna surprise. According to BMB spoilers, Finn will try to maintain his family unit, thus he might keep the news to himself. Nevertheless, Steffy may detect that something is wrong because she knows Finn very well. Steffy might end up questioning Finn through everything in an attempt to get him to crack. Daphne Rose will intensify her attempts to woo Carter Walton and destroy his relationship with Hope Logan. Everything will proceed as planned until Zend Forrester Dominguez shows up. Could it derail Steffy's plan once Zend and Daphne have had time to get to know one another? It's likely that Daphne and Zend will get attracted to one another, which would make matters more difficult. In any event, Steffy will be occupied with another project. Fans of BMB will remember that Steffy returned to Forrester Creations in order to divert attention and allow Daphne to perform her magic. That narrative point will be brilliant since Hope Logan, Annika Noel, will, in fact, become more and more wary of Steffy's return to Forrester. As Hope tries to determine what kind of game Steffy is playing, it will drive her to an obsession. Hope won't recognize Daphne's threat from their covert collaboration since she will be too preoccupied with Steffy. Brooke Logan, played by Catherine Kelly Lang, will approach Ridge Forrester, played by Torsten Kay, and insist on having a talk. Will Brooke make another attempt to persuade Ridge that she replaced him as CEO and that everything will be okay in the end? In the long run, Brooke intends to persuade Carter to correctly refile the LLC documents, but Ridge might not believe she can. Ridge may reject Brooke in a number of ways since he has put all of his effort into getting back together with Taylor Hayes. Luna will observe and hear Will Spencer and Electra Forrester debate her life sentence in the Spencer estate. But when it comes to Luna's living situations under house arrest, Bill is about to be exposed. Poppy might eventually force the truth from the prison officials during the week of February 10th to 14th, or she might visit Bill's house and ask for his assistance in obtaining answers. At that point, Luna can unintentionally knock over something or even just emerge from hiding to face Poppy. In any case, it appears like Poppy's most recent finding will result in another one where Bill pulls a prank to free Luna from prison. Bill's loved ones will undoubtedly have some outbursts of rage and voice their concerns. Will she be able to get Finn to share his latest problems with Steffy? If Steffy does, Finn might declare that Luna is his daughter based on DNA evidence and acknowledge his secret bedroom encounter with Poppy. According to spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful, the CBS soap opera is still in for some surprises, so stay tuned for more predictions on all the crazy drama that lies ahead. Poppy had always been adept at maintaining her poise and constructing carefully constructed realities out of half-truths to protect her from the fallout from her decisions. She had not experienced panic in years, but now she felt it as the walls began to close in around her. Panic, real, unstoppable. The type that put her mind into a tailspin, made her palms slippery with perspiration, and squeezed her chest. The one thing she had feared the most, Finn's paternity test, had been the first step. She had made every effort to control the story and hide the truth before it was revealed, but now it was in the open, unavoidable, and hard to deny. Finn was aware that he was Luna's dad. Even worse, Luna was aware. The betrayal in her daughter's eyes and the way she had looked at her had pierced Poppy's heart like a knife. All these years, she had been attempting to keep Luna safe, hadn't she? Preventing her from living a life full with heartache, rejection, and despair. Now, however, Poppy saw only uncertainty, mistrust, and, worst of all, distance in place of thankfulness. A fresh feeling of fear washed over her as she realized that Luna was no longer staring at her in the same manner. Then Steffy came along. Now that the truth about Finn and Luna was known, Steffy Forrester had every reason to go for the kill because she had never trusted her and had always viewed her suspiciously. Poppy could clearly see the calculating sparkle in Steffy's eyes as she was assembling the elements and preparing to attack. Everything could go wrong if Steffy reached Finn first and sowed suspicion about Poppy's motivations. She couldn't allow that to occur. She refused. However, what was she able to do? The falsehood was falling apart more quickly than she could patch it up. She had believed she had more time, that she could continue to have some influence over the situation. Everything seemed to be sliding out of her grasp now, though. She needed to move quickly. Perhaps she could persuade Finn that nothing had changed, that Luna didn't require his presence in her life, and that it was best to put the past behind her. However, the moment that notion occurred to her, she realized it was pointless. Now that he knew the truth, Finn wasn't the type of man to abandon his child. Then there was Luna, who had always trusted Poppy and believed in her, but suddenly she was doubting everything. The worst thing was that Poppy was unsure of where to start. How could she make this better? What could be said to repair the harm? Breathing became difficult as she felt the panic mounting and pressing against her throat. This was more than she could handle. She wasn't prepared to lose her composure. However, she wasn't sure whether she could stop it for the first time in her life. Finn sat quietly, his thoughts a jumble of conflicting feelings as he gazed at the DNA test kit on the table before him. Everything was unclear now, even though he had believed he knew who he was, where he came from, and what his future held. At first, the uncertainty had been slight and easy to ignore, but now it was impossible to ignore. He wanted answers, and taking the test was the only way to obtain them. He grabbed for the equipment with steady hands, but his heart was racing inside. The truth, his truth, was at stake here, not merely science or biology. And there would be no turning back once it was out. He reflected on Steffy and how she had regarded him when he had told her he was thinking about taking the test. Naturally, she had been incensed. She had charged him with creating drama where none existed and revisiting wounds that didn't need to be touched. Why is it important at all? Her voice was tight with displeasure as she inquired. We have a family and a life. Isn't that sufficient? However, it wasn't. No more. Not when the doubt had become ingrained in his thoughts and was becoming more and more powerful every day. Luna. That was the main point of this. The young lady who had unintentionally rekindled the past he had attempted to put behind him by entering his life like a gentle storm. He had noticed the hesitancy in her gaze and the way she found it difficult to identify her place in the world. He had felt it, too, and had recognized it. He had been looking for an unnamed connection that always seemed just out of grasp for a significant portion of his life. Luna might have been a component of that missing piece now. She might have been his daughter. He shivered at the thought, feeling both excited and afraid. It would change everything if the test proved it. Without a doubt, he would be a father. He would have an obligation and an unbreakable bond. What would happen, though, if it turned out to be false, if the findings indicated that he and Luna were unrelated? Would he feel better? Would he feel foolish for even considering it? Or would he experience the loss of something he had only started to dream about? He steadied himself and let out a deep exhale. Dwelling on what-ifs was pointless. The truth was the only thing that mattered anymore. And that reality was ready to be revealed within the tiny plastic kit before him. Carefully following the directions, he opened the package. Each step felt more difficult than the last. The inside of his cheek should be wiped. The sample should be sealed. Send it off. He became aware that he had been holding his breath as he finished the procedure. His chest tightened, and he forced himself to breathe, but it didn't help much. Throughout his life, he had taken innumerable examinations, including board certifications, medical exams, and diagnostic evaluations, but none had ever seemed as transformative as this one. How would Poppy respond? The woman who had created a web of secrets and half-truths and who had always seemed so certain of her version of events. Would she attempt to disprove it, to coerce him into disregarding the findings? Or would she be compelled to come clean at last? What about Luna? How would she feel if the test revealed that she was his daughter? After all this time, would she welcome the prospect of having a father, or would she be angry at him for failing to be there for her when she needed him most? Tired from the strain of it all, Finn rubbed a palm across his face. He felt more confused than ever after embarking on this quest in search of clarity. But now there was no going back. The test was completed. The truth was on the way. He had no choice but to wait. Finn stared at the unopened envelope in his hands while he sat at the edge of his seat. His fingers clenched around the edges of the paper as though the sheer force of his grip could somehow change the reality within, while his pulse thumped in his ears. It was this. It was the moment he had been anticipating, dreading, and worrying about. This envelope included the DNA test results, which provided answers to questions he had been asking himself for weeks, or perhaps longer if he was being completely honest with himself. Was Luna indeed his daughter? Had he been duped by Poppy all along? Was all he knew about his family and his past about to change? With the weight of the unknown bearing down on him, he swallowed forcefully. There was a part of him that had hoped this moment would turn out differently, that he would dive right into the results as soon as he obtained them. However, he hesitated now that they were present and the reality was in front of him. Because as soon as he opened this envelope, he would be faced with the stark truths and no more doubt or wondering. And he wouldn't be able to retract those facts if they revealed anything he wasn't prepared to hear. His mind wandered to Luna, the young lady who had inadvertently upended his entire existence. Since the paternity issue, he had kept a tight eye on her, noting every moment of confusion in her eyes and every instance in which she appeared to be looking for something, answers, a sense of belonging, or clarification. Like him, she was torn between two realities, waiting to see which was really hers to follow. Although he had witnessed her efforts to remain resilient, he could also see the dread, hesitancy, and hope she was too scared to completely express. Was he the parent she desired? Did she worry about the consequences if he was? Then Steffy came along. This was not something his wife wanted him to pursue, and she had made that plain. No matter what the test found, she had told him that there would be no benefit to looking into the past and that it would only result in pandemonium. Perhaps she was correct. Perhaps he wouldn't find the serenity he sought from this exam. Perhaps it would simply shatter the life he had created. However, Finn had never been one to ignore the truth. He couldn't ignore something this significant because he had dedicated his professional life to finding solutions, resolving medical mysteries, and saving lives. Taking a deep breath, he cautiously tore open the envelope by sliding his finger under its seal. He pulled out the sheet of paper from inside with damp palms, and his eyes skimmed over the words until they reached the most important part, the findings. As he read the response he had been looking for, his stomach turned. Finn's throat tightened with breath. His daughter was Luna. He felt a surge of emotion that was so strong that he had to steady himself by holding onto the chair's arms to prevent himself from falling. Even though he wasn't sure what he had anticipated, he was nevertheless shocked to see the confirmation in black and white. She was his. His responsibility, his family, and his blood. What would this mean for them? The implications whirled through his mind. For him? Who had kept this a secret for so long, for Poppy? A glimmer of anger ignited within him. He had lost time because of Poppy. Years. She had always been aware of this fact, but she had decided to keep it from him in order to prevent him from seeing his own daughter. How could she defend that? When she had denied Luna the opportunity to see her biological father, how could she stand there and say she had been acting in Luna's best interests? His free palm curled into a fist as he tightened his jaw. He had to face her. He had to understand why. But before he could follow through on that idea, he became aware of another thing, Luna. She had to know. She deserved to learn this from him, not from some accident or unreliable source, for it was her life and her truth. Would she feel better? Joyful? Or would she experience the same sense of betrayal as he did, realizing that a lie had formed her entire life? Though he was unsure of how she would respond, he was confident that he had to tell her. Unlike Poppy, he would not keep secrets. He let out a short breath and tried to settle himself, his fingers tightening around the paper. Everything altered as a result. He had answered the questions he had set out to find. However, realizing the reality was just the first step. Now it mattered what he did with that truth, how he dealt with the consequences. And things would never be the same again, in one way or another.